Yes, how do we record here? Oh, recording meeting. You said it, right?
Yeah.
Great, wonderful. Okay, so is everyone able to hear me?
Yeah, we are able to hear you.
Okay. I know we don't have all our volunteers here quite yet. I did want to start with actually introduction. Each person could go through. I'm already sharing slides, but actually, I think it'd be best if we could go through and just give a brief introduction. So that people
I think. Ask him if he can call in an hour.
Didn't you have that last night? You were talking to a guy last night. That's what happened.
Hello? Okay. We have a little bit of noise coming in. Maybe from.
I do have access to the internet, but my husband is using that.
Okay, great. Sorry about that. Okay, so if we're still getting people coming in about the timing. I guess there's a little bit of a snafu with that. I did want to go around and have everybody briefly introduce themselves so that I can know. I have people's general backgrounds, but just a little bit more. And then I'll get into explaining what we're trying to do and just trying to give an introduction. I'm hoping it'll take an hour, but it might go right up to 1 hour. So I'll start. I think we are still recording, so we can reference this later. My name is Catherine Kim. I'm an associate professor at National Taiwan University. I also been involved in PELS for a while. There's a new initiative through the products group, and it's about looking at how to make educational videos or make educational videos related to power electronics available for our member base. So we've broken into 3 different groups based on that. One is making videos, which is kind of this initiative. One is reviewing existing videos that are already out there. And then another one is kind of making a type of like web-based course with videos and other types of resources online. So this is, the initiative here is generating new videos, and we're going to get into more about the specific like what activities we're doing, and it's a volunteer effort. So I'll lay out my vision, what we have, and then it may kind of shift around, and that's okay too. So yeah, that's my introduction. So who would like to go next? We'll see if we just go down the order here. I have Rakesh Kumar. You want to give a quick introduction?
Yeah, I'm currently has a postdoctoral.
Sorry. Apologies. Sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Rakesh, you are muted, I think. Rakesh?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, are you able to hear?
Yes, right now, that's good.
Yeah, so I'm a postdoctoral fellow from NIT Tiruchi, right now in India. And I'm interested in being an IEEE volunteer, and by being part of this polytechnics group, which is more oriented towards educational, this will be actually a very big opportunity for me personally to work with everyone and create a big sort of network and take forward the activities there.
Great, thank you. Good to have you on board. I have next on the list, and I hope I don't say your name wrong. I apologize. Emery.
Yeah, no problem.
Go ahead.
Hello.
If I say anything wrong, please correct me.
Yeah, it's fine, no problem. Sorry, I had a bad connection. I lost the first part of the meeting, but my name is Emre, and I'm working at Oak Ridge National Lab in Tennessee as a researcher, and my background is power electronics and wide bandgap devices. So, and I'm excited to participate in this activity for PELS.
Great. Thank you so much. Okay, I have Jorge, I believe. Are you able to hear us and quick introduction? Maybe not.
Yeah. Hello. Good morning and good evening. My name is Jorge Vega, and I work for Northrop Grumman in the power conversion technology team, and power electronics is my passion. I have a master's in analog IC design. It's not specifically power, but I guess I've converted to power in the last few years. So I'm really glad to be part of this group and to contribute. It's nice to meet you all.
Great, thank you. And then Sandu, do you want to give an introduction as well?
Sure, yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Sandun Kurupu. I'm assistant professor at Saginaw Valley State University in Michigan. I joined SVSU after some time in industry at TI, Next Year, and Delphi. So my background is power electronics, drives, and related topics. So it's kind of a little bit broad for me in terms of research. And I was doing some development for like a video development for my students. And when I saw this opportunity, I thought, hey, I can help out the larger community in this way. So I thought this is a great opportunity, and we can, network and meet our colleagues across the world. So it's good, and we met, all of you guys.
All right, great. I'm hoping we'll get a few more people jump on the call, but thank you, first of all, everyone, for volunteering. And I'm going to get into it because otherwise it'll take too long. I don't want to take too long here. So I'm going to jump into the slides that I've prepared. And as I'm going, if there are any questions, feel free to just kind of jump in. Okay, so it's a little bit larger so that everyone can see my screen. Okay, so this is so the initiative specifically for generating new content. And so the idea is that we're trying to make video series, not necessarily like a series that goes in order, but just videos that kind of hit this target area. And it's really broad. We're looking at topics anywhere related to power electronics. So there's power electronics is such a huge field, but there's a big demand for new content. And now that people are going very virtual, a lot of professors have been looking for content for sharing, but not just professors, but just people being able to learn online. And what we kind of scoped out as a target area is a little bit higher than just really basic textbooks. Like we do have textbooks that are established, and we want to be a little bit more advanced than that, but still we can be at the basic level. Maybe at the level of some tutorials, but not quite at the like dissemination level as a research paper. We want to kind of do cover step-by-step tutorials that could build on each other, for example, and would cover anything from really basic to actually advanced topics like, for example, wideband gaps, lots of different topics that we'll kind of cover in the next one. So it's a broad area that we're trying to get, but we're trying to capture an area that is not the same as research papers and not the same as textbooks, kind of overlap with tutorials, but it's actually wider. So that's what we would like to create. And this is a style that, from my experience in making video lectures for the last 5 or 6 years, this is what I found to be really effective for learning and for being able to create different courses, is to have the videos be actually short, self-contained educational videos focused on one concept. So this would be in contrast to a really long lecture. Sometimes you'll find lectures of professors giving a whole long 1 hour lecture and they cover lots of different topics. But the idea here would be to have a video that is self-contained. So any, for example, terminology or things that you explain would kind of be explained within the video itself. It could be part of a series, but it would be kind of a self-contained unit. The idea is to have it less than 20 minutes. 5 to 20 is the general range. Usually 10 to 15 is a good range for like one topic. And the idea is that the videos could be used as a building block to create multiple modules. So here I'm giving an example of, we have different modules, could be courses if you want to think about it like that, or they could be short courses. For example, if we made one video about magnetic materials, the idea is that it could be used in multiple courses. So if you had one on magnetics design or on high frequency converters or on magnetic materials, you would be able to use that video in multiple places and it kind of works as a standalone. And the module course, as we develop courses, which is a little bit later on, we could find ways to link them and add more material to help reinforce those videos. But so we want to make a building block that can be used in multiple framings, multiple modules. And here's the proposed format is to have again, within 20 minutes, starting with the title slide. I mean, these are kind of simple, but you'd have an introduction. First, just the title, and then an instructor introduction. So whoever the instructor is, they would introduce themselves, who they are, briefly explain the scope of the video so that they know what they're covering. And then if there's any important background that you would need before you learn this, cover this material, then the instructor would cover that in the beginning. Then they would kind of dive into technical content for the video. This is kind of open in terms of the style. You could do PowerPoint with a small person on the side. You could do like literal handwriting. I've seen videos like that. You could do on a whiteboard. There's lots of, you could do a demonstration, so that part is completely open. But my strong encouragement, and I think we can make it a requirement, is that the instructor is at least visible for part of the teaching, because it really gives the students or the learner more of an interaction, and I think actually keeps them more engaged. At the end, we would need to have a summary that's really quick just on what was covered, and then the idea is to have we'd have short credits at the end and have kind of a stamp. I can't think of a better name for an emblem that just says this is part of the PELS educational video series. If we wanted to come up with a better name, we could, but you could put that at the credits. You could also put it in the title to kind of say that this is a video that was created with the support of PELS. And then it would also be uploaded onto an internal platform that would be made available to PELS members through, for example, the Resource Center, if you are familiar with that. So if you're a member and you have a login, you could go into it and then have access to these videos and also any course material that would kind of go with it. One thing we'd also want to have as a requirement is subtitles, either in closed caption or actually just at the bottom. And we would, by default, have them in English. But you could also subtitle them in other languages. Okay, so that's the general idea of like the videos that we would want to make. And then we still would need details about how to share that, what kind of platform exactly we would use to share that. But the idea is that we would make these, and these videos would be available to members. And the instructor would also have, they would be able to post it on their own if they wanted to, but the idea is to have it within content for our members. Okay, any questions on that so far?
So regarding instructors, are the volunteers they themselves will be instructing, or we just have to request invite people as part of instructors.
Okay, for like our role in that, you mean?
I didn't get you.
Yeah. Yes. So we would be. It could be either actually, and that's kind of in my very very last slide. I'll jump down there real quick, just so you can think about this while we're going through. There's a little bit more to cover, but the kind of things that we're looking at. So where will you fit into this? Is we could either have people, if they so desire to, they're really excited to make videos on topics. Volunteers could directly make videos themselves, or they could, for example, we can contact, as a group, contact certain instructors that we think would be a really great video. Say we want to make a video on some topic, and so we think that this professor or industry person would be really great to make that video. We would reach out to them and we would try to provide, like, explain the idea of the video, see if they'd be interested in being on board, and then help support through editing, reviewing, and giving feedback on the plan for it, and making, like, editing the video as if needed, and then helping get onto a platform in a course. So we could either, volunteers could either make them directly, or they could, we would, as a group, try to get other people to make them and then help them in that process.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
That's good. Yes.
Okay. I'll go a little bit further, and we'll have more discussion at the end. So this is slide 4. I'm going to jump to. Okay, so that's the idea that we'd like to make. I've drafted these kind of requirements to kind of, just as a documentation to say, like, what exactly, so we contact somebody, we want them to make a video, but what kind of guidelines do we have? So this is, topic would be, so these are 3 pages of video requirements and guidelines. If you have feedback or things that we would want to change, we can discuss that. The idea is to be within the Palestinian Society focus areas, which is really broad. I really want to keep it below 20 minutes just because of keeping it within one topic and not letting it get too long and people get kind of don't focus as well on it. Oops, oh, sorry about that. The format would be, this is kind of what we described previously, but we would need to have a title page, and then it should include a live recording of the instructor. I'm thinking I would put this as a requirement because I think it's really important to see the actual instructor, at least the majority of the time, and shy away from voice over PowerPoint presentations would be strongly not recommended. That's my opinion, but we could discuss that. Everything would be in English. Subtitles could be in multiple languages. We would want to have high resolution and quality, audio quality, and then a wide aspect ratio just for formatting things. And then any of these formats would be fine. And then for copyright, just the instructors would have to make sure that they're not showing anything that shouldn't be shared, that is copyrighted and is not allowed to be shared. Okay, so these would be the guidelines, requirements, and then the general idea how to organize. This would be what we would tell them is to have an intro sequence. This is optional. For example, some people will make a intro that they use for all their videos. We could also make one for the PELS series, a very short introduction, and then give that to the instructors, or if we edit their video, we could add it onto the front. That would be an option if someone is interested in making that. The title would be the next part that would be required. Then an instructor introduction, kind of what I covered before, but just laying it out with more detail. They should give their name and affiliation, and then the scope and the background, so anything that the viewer would need to know before they dive into the details. and then the body of it would be pretty much up to the instructor. We could also work with them on kind of drafting if we have a good vision for it as well. But I would want to give as much creative freedom to the creators. And then, of course, summary to summarize it and any takeaways. Okay, so the third part of the draft or the guidelines would just be trying to use generally easier to understand language and avoid jargon unless it's defined, to speak clearly and maintain a good speaking pace. Make sure this is a little bit challenging because not everyone will have a really good setup, but I think even with most phones or computer webcams, you can still get a pretty good type of recording. So we would have to see if this would be a problem, but these are just some guidelines for recording. And then these are some of the editing software. If we, as an editing, if people who would want to do editing and interested in doing it, we would be able to get licenses of some of these software if needed to help. So that's an option. And then there's some just other suggestions for animations. So this would be the draft of this would be the guideline requirements and guidelines that we would give to anyone interested in making a video. Yes. Any initial thoughts here?
Catherine, can you share what you use, like in terms of the setup, like what kind of a camera, like lighting and all that information?
Sure. So for me, I'll kind of go with, start from a little bit backwards, but I use Camtasia for editing. I've also used Adobe Premiere Pro, but actually it's almost too advanced for me. So I use Camtasia, which is, I think, pretty intuitive to use and has all the basic things you need for educational videos. So we could make that available to editors and also to instructors if they're interested. And I use just a DSLR. Actually, it's about 10 years old. I was quite old now. An old camera, but I use a tripod setup to help make it stable. Nowadays, you can use phone cameras, and actually, a lot of people have really good YouTube videos with just a phone camera. And Camtasia has an ability to do a screen capture and also capture your webcam. So I use those for when I do like face on top of a PowerPoint. Otherwise, I just use a tripod setup with in front of a relatively well-lit whiteboard. And I don't have specific lights, but sometimes they're nice to have to get the lighting a little bit better. And then from my experience, it's really good to have a microphone. So if we get instructors and they, for some reason, would need more equipment, we could also try to help them get the equipment if they need it, really basic stuff. Or we have to figure that out, I guess. But yes, the equipment is helpful. But the most important thing that I found in making the videos is the camera is less important than the microphone. The microphone has to be good and have good sound quality. That's most important. And you have to be able to see the visuals. But if you don't see the instructor in a perfect HD, it's not a problem.
Okay, okay, good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, any other questions or comments here? Okay, I'm going to go on to the next part, and then we can always discuss everything at the end. So based on, this is the topic survey. I think almost everyone here probably took it because this is where we requested for volunteers. These were the subject areas just that we have in, I think either in PELS or in TPEL, the Transaction on Power Electronics. I can't remember. These are one of the standard divisions of topics. And I think the clear winner, the people are most interested in control on power electronics. And I'm not sure if everyone's familiar. There are already videos available from Dragan Masimovich and Bob Erickson at University of Colorado Boulder through Coursera, but they are only available in certain times, and you have to. I've taken them, but sometimes you have to sign up at the right time, type of a thing. So it's still a very clear need, I think, for people, but also lots of other areas that I think are very useful as well. Okay, so just keep this in mind. If you're gravitating to a certain area and you're really excited about making videos in one area or finding people to make videos in them, that's great. So the list, and this is unorganized, I apologize, but these are just the list of topics that people suggested. Say, I would like a educational video in this area. So we have more like specific areas such as energy harvesting, specific applications, PFCs. Wide bandgap does come up quite a bit, so there's some expertise in this group as well there. That's good. Multi-level inverters comes up. Power quality also comes up, in some of the EMI was another area. Wireless power transfer, storage and battery management, another here. E-drives, I guess, integrating drives, so drivers, machines and drives. Magnetics, I think that's going to also be a good topic. Related to that, transformer design, materials, the latest in silicon and GaN MOSFETs, whatever. The new switching devices, high side driving, low parasitic design, renewable energy, automotive, railway, also electric aircrafts. This person was very specific. They gave, I think it's also a good one, very practical, like board layout, interfacing with electrical mains, and also things related to safety or other kind of practical applications that a lot of people in university do not get in their education. This was a very specific one, but I think also very interesting. A lot of different specific types of converters, LLC converters, specific applications like server applications. Trying to read through that we haven't covered yet. Oh, HVDC could be another one. Electric vehicles and vehicle to grid, resonant converters, and then switch capacitor converters and other derivatives. And there's the last one, energy management. So anything system with batteries, electronic troubleshooting. So more, I think, hands-on practical approach. Wide bandgap again, very specific, like military space, avionics types of applications, more magnetics, resonant converters, thermal design, advanced modeling. Gosh, there's so many. PCB power, PCB layout, even artificial AI and machine learning, and integrated into power electronics. And I think everything else is already actually covered. So I think there's a huge range of topics that people are interested in. And it's going to kind of be up to us as a group, also individuals, what people are most interested in or what we think is like the most relevant to kind of go after first, but lots of different ideas. Okay, this is also, there's another course that another group is kind of focusing on. These are some additional specific topics that they could use videos related to. This is more of a graduate level course. So just kind of like losses in IGBTs and MOSFET, failure mechanisms in semiconductors, soft switching converters, voltage source converters, current source converters, two-phase topologies, AC converters, matrix topologies, things like that are also on the table for things that people would like to have. Okay, so I know that kind of runs through a bunch of different things. And I'm going to jump now to the volunteer part. So I'm happy to hear any discussion, thoughts, anything from all of you. And now the idea is, what do we want to do as a group? Like, what's our first steps? And where would people like to get involved? The things we would need are possibly, these are all just possibilities. We can it's open and we can make more like activities, either making the videos directly or like picking a topic and looking for instructors that we think would be really good, and then figuring out if they need editing, helping with that, working on making sure that videos are really high quality and will meet what give feedback so it can be a really high quality video, and then forming them into modules. But I'm going to actually table this for a little bit later. These two are actually forming the videos into course modules. And yeah, so it would be all of these things. And then if we want to make some sort of either stamp or logo or an introduction, for example, for the PELS video series, that would be another thing that someone could do so that we could give that, like use that as a standard part in all the videos. Okay, so I'm going to try to get videos back for you guys to see you guys. Okay. So, oh, and we have some more people on board. So I'm gonna first I'm gonna ask the people who joined to introduce themselves. I see Leiku and Deepak. So Lei, do you want to introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, sorry, I got late because of I think there's some timing issue. So I was thinking here as per Indian time it is 8:30, but I think it's okay, fine. But I could actually follow most of the things. I was late by maybe I think 5-10 minutes, not more than that, I guess.
Hey, Catherine, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So here it's California, and
Early.
7:40 roughly. So I saw like at 8 a.m. Yeah, I was targeting. Yeah. What do you introduce? Like what people? How do people introduce?
Yeah, who you are, where you're working, or your position, and then I guess why you're interested in working on this topic.
Hey everyone, so I'm Lei. I'm working as a postdoc at Stanford. I share office with Jason Poon.
Okay. Oh, great. Awesome.
Yeah. So Catherine, we met several times in the conferences, but I don't know like you quote that or not. So the reason why I'm interested in this is like just a few days before they released the survey, I was watching the Solid State Society, IEEE Solid State Society. They have tons of a YouTube channel, and then they have a lot of short video tutorial given by different professors. Like when I look at those, watch those videos, I was like, oh, as a polytronic society, maybe we should have them. So I was saying, I'm sending the YouTube channel of the Solid State Society of that thing. So they have like different versions of like, short tutorials from a lot of topics. So I don't know whether that helps or not. Like so they have like yeah. They even have DC converters, analog building blocks of DC converters. They have like basics of digital low drop-off integrated voltage regulators, capacitive sensor interfaces, this kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of them are
actually that would be
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm late. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I didn't find it. I'll look it up later. Actually, if you could share that with people, because honestly, I think examples are really going to be, I tried to lay it out as much as possible, but having some like concrete examples would be really good, even if we, for example, use an example and then we say we want to keep this aspect, but we want to change this aspect. It'd be good to have like examples. So yeah, I mean, if you can remember, if you can share that link, just respond to all in the email and share that. That would be helpful. I'll look at that.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. So I guess I'd like to hear from everyone what they're interested in or what they think about like for initial topics, and then what kind of role people you would think you'd be interested in, or yeah, just feedback on this and how you see what we can do as a committee to make these videos possible.
Catherine, can I come? Hello. This is Deepak Pulwani from IIT Jodhpur, India. Hello. See, what I'm saying that we can actually do both the things.
This.
Like, are you able to hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So what I'm suggesting that we can do both the things. Like we can start making videos. Like all volunteers can actually choose different topics, and we can start making videos. At the same time, we can also find out certain interesting topics where we can actually approach different instructors and try to seek their help if they are ready to help in this initiative. So we can actually like finalize say 5-6 topics on which we can make 20-minute video, and at the same time maybe another 10 topics where we can actually approach to different instructors and request them to make video for us for our, because Power Electronic Society has very large number of members, and I think we can approach to several people, and I hope that some of them will agree to make some video content for us. So we can do both the things, like you have written activities for volunteers. In that we can also make videos, at the same time we can also approach. So that will actually increase the number of videos, and we may have many high quality videos available in some span of time. That is what I feel. I can actually hear from others what they think.
Hey, this is Jorge Vega. So I have a question, so let's say we come up with a set of videos. We probably need some type of eyes or committee to look at them to make sure that they're aligned with what we want to accomplish. So we probably want to set a mini group or like a subcommittee of reviewers, make sure that the videos are good to go. So that's one comment. And another comment is, I have been playing with a software or with something called Prezi, Prezi. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it. Prezi.com. And I am totally sold on the presentation abilities that it gives to me, So you can put your image as you present the material. So are any of you familiar with Prezi? Prezi? Have you seen it?
No.
I'll tell you, my presentations at work have really taken off using this software. I'm a PowerPoint user, but Prezi beats the pants out of it. So I just wanted to comment and maybe suggest that maybe I can look into it, make an example, and present it to you all to see what you think. Anyhow, that's my thought on those are my comments.
Okay, actually that's great. And any resource, for example, like that specific thing, like there's new software, and we want to bring all the best things together. So if we have like that kind of suggestion, we can put it in the notes, and we can try to use it as a tool that we can use for making videos. So excellent. Any other feedback from people right now?
So initially, So initially, initially these videos can be made from among the volunteers itself before approaching any other instructor. I mean, inviting other instructors, because we need to first set a standard of the video. Actually, that will form the new instructor will actually see what are the previous videos and how they are presented, and then someone whom we are inviting, these videos, I mean, they can be basic videos also. They need not be very advanced. They can be basic videos, but they will form something like a template for the other persons whom we are inviting. So, and initially we can also, we have that freedom of editing and doing any works, and rather than annoying the other invited people, because we cannot be very liberal with those persons, but we can be liberal among ourselves in revising those videos and again to make sure that they reach up to a standard quality, and then we can start inviting the researchers from outside our volunteer group. So that's my suggestion.
Excellent. I think I agree, and I think that would also help us figure out kind of what standard we want to do. So we've heard it from two people, and I think it's also a good idea to figure out what we want. So I think our first step will be on making our own videos based on some topics. So I think that's where we're seems like the conversation is heading, and developing into different teams for making the content, editing the content, and also a quality control to see for the future as well, our own videos, and then also the future with other people are making them to kind of make sure that we meet a standard. And yeah, we won't just let anybody who submits in. It would be we want to make it into a really high quality standard, professional and high quality.
We can make it. No issues.
So
I just want to suggest. I just want to suggest one thing, we should also. Can I speak or?
No, we have.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Go ahead, and then Amri, then we'll
just I want to make one suggestion that we can actually share these topics on which we are planning to make different videos. So that will also help us to understand that what are the different topics in which different volunteers are working. And as someone said, that we also need to do some editing, in the sense that quality and all those things we need to. So there should be some editorial role also of this from volunteers, or maybe from outsiders also, to ensure that the quality of content is up to the mark. And because it will go for that society website, so that will require that some kind of quality testing, and content also should be not very basic. I believe that it should be somewhere intermediate, as I think you have mentioned in your presentation, that not up to the research paper level, but not should be related to some available standard thing in textbook. So it can be somewhere intermediate. So that will actually help the community in understanding certain complex concepts. Yeah, I'm done from my side.
Great, thank you. Okay, I'm ready. Do you want to mention something?
I just had a question regarding the copyright. So when we make these videos, do we give copyright to IEEE, or do the authors still have the sole copyright? I mean, I'm asking it because in our lab we do not, for example, give copyright when we publish papers in IEEE, because it's most of the time government funded, and I'm just wondering, if the authors are giving the copyright like they do it in journal papers, or they keep their copyright when they make these.
Yes, I don't know the answer to this, but I can figure out the answer based on if there's any specific rules. If it were what I had envisioned, actually the author would keep the copyright, and we would kind of be allowed to, by the instructor, the author, to share it on the site. I don't know how copyright works with IEEE with videos if it's not made by IEEE, like IEEE TV. So I will look into the answer for that. That will be important. You're very right. I'm hoping that it would still be with the author and we just have a special ability to host it, but I will look into that answer. Thank you for bringing it up.
Okay, yeah, I was just wondering because in certain cases the institution also posts, especially the papers on their website as well, author submitted and that sort of thing. So I was just wondering if, you know, the person within a certain institution makes this video, and then, you know, most likely the institution would demand to put it on their website as well to get more presence. And like, I would like to know if that would be an issue for IEEE or the PELS.
Okay. All right.
Hey, Catherine, just curious, have they, like, when the PELS was having meeting, do they consider reusing some of the videos you make on your channel, those educational series?
So there's, for existing videos, there's a different review process. And for example, my videos and some by Professor Ben Yakov will also, and other professors as well, will be actually reviewed. So there's kind of like a review process. So for ones that are already there and existing, there will be a team that will actually be reviewing. So looking at those and kind of assessing, kind of like a book review, but just for videos and focus on education. So that would be into that category, and that's led by Arijit Energy. And so they're going to be doing that as well. So then ours would be kind of making new ones. We could, I mean, hopefully, I think we will make some of them. So,
Okay.
yeah, so
Sounds
ones
great.
and then also we would make new ones.
I see. So, and like, what kind of like how to say, platform or channel would they trying to kind of release or put these videos on? Are they thinking about like just putting on PEL's website, or are they thinking about creating a, for example, a YouTube channel like what the Society of Solid States did? Yeah,
The
what kind of
initial
platform?
thought, and it's still, I mean, this is not in stone in any way. The initial thought is that we would make it available. It's kind of like a resource specifically for PELS members. So we would put it within the resource center, the PELS Resource Center.
I see.
So you'd have to log in to IEEE to do it, but we could also make, for example, a YouTube channel. It's kind of, YouTube kind of like a big crazy world, but in terms of video making. But we could also, like, for example, choose certain ones that we wanted to put there as well to make it public to everybody.
Yeah, it would be great if it's like open source, I think. Yeah, but I think they have their opinions. Okay.
Hey, I have a quick question, and maybe you can orient me in the right way. So the depth of the videos shouldn't be a research paper, but then it shouldn't be a basic, you know, chapter 2 or chapter 3 of a textbook. So it should be.
Okay, I'll respond quickly, and then if it's not clear, jump in again. So maybe actually I should, so we don't want it to just be like somebody reads their research paper. That's kind of, we don't want it to just be like, here's all the, you know, just reading it to that. We want it to be like teaching. So the idea is like, sometimes the research paper we just kind of gloss over and say, look at the reference, right? But this idea is that you would kind of teach the material more step-by-step approach. And you could, for example, build up. So if you already had, like, I already covered this in this basic in this video, and then we covered this, and now we're at this point. So you could do a higher topic, but it would be more of a, I think, step-by-step explanation, more like a lecture rather than a presentation you would get at like APEC or something like that. And then actually, I kind of drew the figure not at the textbook level. We actually, there's no reason, we can also cover all the basics like buck converter, boost converter, like rectifiers. We can also cover those. There's no reason we couldn't, but a lot of those are already available. So we definitely want to cover a little bit higher level or more application specific, but we could actually cover all the fundamentals as well.
Okay. Hey, and could it be also on the lines of a demo? Let's just say a boost converter, right? You know, I have the hardware, and you know, I have the scope tied to it. I have the current clamp tied to it, and I'm presenting an example of a boost converter, and you know, with the actual hardware, some of some of the subtleties that can take place, maybe at the board level, I don't know, some of the magnetics, even though it's a boost converter, it's very well documented throughout. But so would that be in line with something like this, where there's a demo, there's actual hardware, there's instrumentation tied to it?
Short answer, yes. Especially, we want to, actually, one reason I kind of put like not in the textbook is because a lot of the textbook is pure theory, and we are yes to more hardware and yes to simulation, for example. We just want to make sure that it doesn't become, for example, if some of the company videos may kind of focus on selling a product rather than teaching. So we just want to make sure it's teaching as is the focus, so that there's some sort of, like you mentioned, like the insights of, or for example, how you test it, or what the waveforms look like, or when you shift this feedback resistor, this is how the system will change. That would be great. That'd be like an excellent video.
Yeah, I see.
Like
I
CC
like that.
and DC and boundary conditions, right?
Yeah. Oh, stability with I think it'd be really great to have like hardware videos with stability and like turning it a little bit and looking how stability changes. That would be really interesting. But
right.
Okay, I did want to, I think we got Dr. Mini Rajiv. Are you on?
Hello.
Introduction, just of your, like, who you are, where you're working, and why you're volunteering.
Okay. Hello. I'm Mini Rajiv. I'm working as an associate professor in one of the colleges in India. I have around 25 years of teaching experience in the same college, and I have completed my PhD from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. So my area is in power electronics. I teach power electronics, and I do experiments in power electronics. My research area is power electronic converters and related fields.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry about the time mix-up, but thank you for, and we'll send up some notes about it so we can cover some of the things we missed. And then Satarupa, are you there? You want to give a quick introduction?
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes. So I'm Satarupa Bal. I'm currently working with C+T Power, which is located in Belgium. I completed my PhD in 2018 from National University of Singapore. My specialization was developing power converters, mainly focused on current-fed dual-active bridge for energy storage application. After that, I was working for 1 year at Rolls-Royce Corporate Lab and then moved to Belgium. So that's the story.
Okay, great. I think we have everyone here. I did get everyone. Okay. We're kind of actually, so I'm sorry about anybody who missed the time change, but at the time we're kind of wrapping up. But I think from what the feedback I'm hearing, I'm going to look into the copyright. I'll get that answer for us for next time. And then I think consensus is, well, one, we can look into more tools and other examples. And then I think we would try to move towards, we as a group would make some example videos. Well, we would make real lecture videos and give examples within our group. And then we would try to, from those examples, reach out to other instructors in specific areas. So we can do this over email as well, but is there anyone who'd be interested in making a video? I think if we could get 1 or 2 volunteers or even more to actually make an example video, then we could kind of pick a topic and work on that. So I guess the question is, does anybody have ideas? Does anyone want to volunteer right off the bat? Otherwise, we'll move it to email.
And Catherine, one more thing. So do we want to like take a bit of time and maybe figure out, because the topics were a little broader at this point, so maybe, you know, identify maybe one or two and then some subtopics on that, and then one or, you know, two of us can prepare a 20-minute video, kind of like a baseline, and then we can decide, okay, how do we want to move forward from here?
Sounds good. I think I'm putting everyone on the spot too much. So actually, excellent suggestion. So why don't we then? So I have the email or the PowerPoint I send out has a bunch of the different ones, different topics that are suggested. So why don't each of us kind of respond, and I'll send this out in an email, but respond to an email with kind of one or two top topics that you think would either you think you could present on, or you think would be most important to cover, and then we'll kind of look at those topics and then also kind of match people, if people are interested in making the video, matching the people to those different topics. Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah, if we can be like specific, you know, let's say in terms of control, the power electronic controls, but maybe say control of buck converter in the DCM mode, you know, be more specific. And if we can do that, or if we want to find someone, you know, we can propose that in the email. That way, you know, we kind of start somewhere, right? At least my idea in this case.
Okay. Okay, so let's, I actually don't want to like confine it to say right at the moment, so I'm going to leave it open and see how people respond. So that'll be the next step, I think, to just kind of see what people are interested in making videos on. So it's most important for making a video and then matching those we think can actually make those videos. And
is there a timeline for making the videos? Like, you know, do we need to complete the first videos in certain amount of time?
Say 100 videos in 100 days.
No, we have no time left. Oh my gosh. So no is the short answer. Yes and no. I mean, this takes the whole effort could take multiple years, but that would be like amassing many videos. We're all volunteers, so I don't want to. There's no like we have to meet this deadline in 10 days or something like that. I think within a couple months, if we could get 1 or 2 example videos up, that would be great. So that would be, I'd say, by the end of summer, beginning of fall would be a good target. If people are raring to go and want to go faster, that's great. But let's kind of, I think we're just starting out, so let's just get some ideas on topics that we think are most important, and then try to match those to, we can give tutorials. Oh my gosh, I can't think. It's really late here, sorry guys. Matching those to instructors and then working on some first example videos.
Okay, sounds great.
Okay, in terms of timeline then, so the immediate one would be, when would you like to do another meeting? Is 2 weeks too soon for us? 2 weeks from now?
I'm okay, but as long as we share the topics over email, right?
We're gonna do, I think we want to do actually as much as possible over email beforehand, so we can have more discussion during the meeting. So let's shoot for 2 weeks to have another call, and then over email we're gonna exchange lots of ideas also over email, and then we can have a shorter call as well.
Yeah.
Any last comments before we wrap up?
And in the email, Catherine, if the link can be shared, the people who missed the first part, they can watch that.
I missed the last part. Can you say it again?
If you could share the recording from Rakesh in the email for this presentation, Rakesh, can you share it? I don't know if you can
Yeah, I will take care. I have the recording going on here. It's okay.
Yeah.
And
That'll count as one video.
I don't know if I want to watch this video. All right. Yeah, so please share that and any other references that you mentioned or just want to share with the group. For now, let's just go email and share there.
Okay.
And we'll get organized, but for now, we'll just do email and then we'll get more organized as we get our own stuff organized. So thank you very much to everyone for participating. And we'll
1 second, ma'am. Excuse me. So if you can send the important points that we discussed today in mail, that would be very helpful.
And just one more suggestion. We can actually start working. Someone can start working with that introductory video. I mean, that standard stamp video of PELS. I think that should be started, because I don't think it needs any. It's pretty straightforward. So that's the first thing that we can start. We can start with, because that's the easiest thing that is available now. So that we can discuss who will be able to handle, or we'll see who is interested, or even if you want, I can take it up.
All right. Then how about I will send out an email as well. It's a good point. I think if someone has an idea, maybe you, since you mentioned it, you could come up with an example one, and then we could give feedback and have something to look at and examine for next time if you could do it. Anybody else want to do it?
Ma'am, who are the targeted audience for these videos?
Target video is going to be PELS members in general. And so actually, I'm going to end the call officially. So, but I can talk to you, Dr. Rajiv, or Sarupa, if you want to discuss more, because we talked about it before. I don't want to hold anybody up. So I'll officially end the call, and we'll follow up over email. Any other questions, just send over email. Thank you so much for your time. You want to stay on? But thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Yeah,
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Yeah, bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Okay. So, Dr. Rajiv, if you want, so the audience is going to be anybody. We're making the videos for the PELS members is the idea, and it would be shared in the resource center, and we're still developing the exact platform. So it might be, for example, in not just videos, but also in modules courses. But first, we're just starting with making some base videos that are gonna work on their own, be up to 20 minutes, could be less, and have just one concept. Any other questions from you guys? Sorry, the timing got messed up, so you guys missed the beginning part of it. I'll just show this really quick because this was in the slide. Oops, let me share this really quick. Okay, so this, you guys can see this. The idea is that we make these short videos, self-contained, that would be able to be built up into other modules. So it's not just a course video where you do lecture 1, lecture 2, self-contained one. Giving an example here of magnetic materials, you could make a video about that, and then you could use it in multiple courses or modules, such as magnetic design, high frequency, magnetic materials, something like that. So those are the kind of videos that we would want to make. And there's lots of topics. I won't go through them again. I encourage you to look through them, but there's lots of different topics that people are interested in. And these are suggestions from the survey that we sent out. So if you think you can pick either out of these or out of the general field. Anything that falls into these general areas are open, and then pick some topics and suggest those for the first videos.
Catherine,
Go
can
ahead.
you hear me?
Yes.
Use that I would be interested in contributing or looking for people who would be interested in contributing. So,
Okay, so seeking out other instructors or other people who
yeah.
would be willing to make the videos. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, it's mostly the topics where we are really famous for some professors who are very well known in that field to give a short video. So that.
And so first we're going to start with making within the group making the videos, so example videos, and then after we have some example videos, then we're going to be requesting, kind of seeking people who would be really great instructors on specific topics. So
Right.
Yeah.
So in that case, right now, are you really looking for within the group who is interested in making what videos? Is that what is the focus right now? To actually segregate people in terms of group so that a set of people, maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people can just focus on making one video in one specific topic right now? Is that how we are going ahead from here?
Yes, so I think we're first focusing I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought, I apologize. Yeah, so the next step is we have all those different topics, and I don't want to, I think people weren't ready to quite like volunteer because we're not sure what the videos will be on. So first we're going to look at all the different video, like suggested topics, or if you just have an idea, like I would love a video on this topic, and we're going to email them all, like over email, kind of get a list of like top suggestions from within our committee. And then once we kind of discuss and kind of some top ones come out, then we would find people first within the group that could make some of those videos. And from there, so we match, like we want this type of video, oh look, I think this person could do it, and then we can match them together and kind of have a small team to make that first video.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yes, it is.
Okay. And then the one thing that they mentioned as well is making an introductory, a kind of symbol that would say like this video is part of the PELS educational series, video series, and then kind of having that as a logo that we could include in the videos that are made. Since they're going to be made by a lot of different people, that would be one kind of crest or some stamp that identifies them as this series of videos. So those are kind of the two immediate tasks that are to do.
Hello. Do you have a sample video?
No.
To show us?
Actually, so in the chat, you might not actually have gotten the chat. We don't have a video yet. We are going to make the first official one. There is a link that Lay sent out. I think you maybe didn't get it because it was before you joined. This is an example from Solid State.
Yes, he did send an email.
Okay, so I haven't looked at it yet, but that might be a kind of an example. So we can discuss. I'll look at it later and kind of give some comments as well. But we don't have an exact video. The only thing I have laid out is a example video here that it's in the notes. Oh, let me share my screen. Here. I'm just going to share it in non-widescreen mode, just like this. So this is the only one that I've given an example, and just basic kind of ends, I would say ends to the content. So title and the introduction, then the content is completely up to the instructor, as long as it's professional and clear and easy to understand, and then a summary and then the credits. So this would be like the basic format, but then there's a lot of flexibility in this middle part about the technical content. So that's kind of very open as long as it meets kind of a quality standard that we are still setting. All right. Any other questions? Then I guess I might close the meeting and.
Yeah,
okay.
fine.
Catherine,
Go ahead.
can we? I think from next meeting onwards, can we have one person who takes notes and at the end of the meeting gives some minutes of the meeting, just so that everyone is on the same, everyone understands what we agreed on. Maybe not from this meeting, but from the next meeting onwards. We can assign one person for each meeting, just so that it's not just you or one person who is taking the notes. Just a suggestion.
Yes, excellent suggestion. Everyone has excellent suggestions. Thank you so much. I will put it in the email. I guess I'm the scribe for this one, and I'm actually not a good. It's hard to run the meeting and be the minute taker, but I'll put that in the email, and then hopefully we can get someone to volunteer, and then in the future someone can be taking notes, writing them down, and then as we progress, so that we don't lose anything.
Yes, that would be good.
Okay. I'm just writing notes here. Volunteer. Okay. Any other suggestions, comments?
There is nothing from my side at this moment.
Yes, we can. You have suggested a few websites to make 2D and 3D animations, right?
Yes, there's I have not used these personally, but let's see. These are the notes. I'll just put it in the chat real quick. There are some. These are some of the suggestions from another video competition that PELS had.
Yeah.
And if you have other ones, we can add to that.
Yeah, especially for power electronics, these softwares, I mean, animations can be used to show the modes of operation. Particularly, they will be highly useful for because power electronics, if you say, when it comes to converter part, it's all about modes of operation, where animations will actually play a very big role in understanding the concepts there. So that is one suggestion that we can, and some template can actually can be taken as a common template whenever modes of operation comes into play. So that
Okay, that would be, yeah, I think a really good suggestion if we had a default that say that this works really well for showing them and kind of giving whoever's making it a tool that they can use easily to make the animation.
Yes, yes.
I don't want to completely constrict them so you must use it, but I think if we gave it to them,
Just a template, just a suggestion. It's up to the instructor how they feel it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Do you know by chance of have you used any animation that is particularly good for circuit modes of operation?
I will let you know. I have just gone through these websites And I'm confident that some of the websites are based on 2D animations. I will let you know which website is actually offering a good animation for carrying out these different modes of operation, and then we can finalize it. Please.
Okay. Great. And the Prezi is the other one that I was going to put
Yeah,
an email.
that also I have taken a note. I will see to it also what we can do.
Great. That would be really helpful as well. Thank you.
Yeah, that's all.
Any other comments, thoughts, questions? Okay. Okay, thank you so much. And I guess.
Thank you, Catherine.
All right, thank you, and we'll talk to you next time. I'll send it out in the email about the meeting time.
Thank you.